Good morning, everyone. We're a little bit late getting started here. We're having some technical difficulties, but we'll continue with our meeting and welcome everyone here. We're glad to see everyone here to do county business. As our order of business, we usually have a moment of silence to any concerns we have in the county and the state, the nation, and also then I've asked Mr. Ranshaw to lead us in the pledge. But first we'll do our moment of silence. First of all, I want to say a big thanks to all first responders, fire departments, law enforcement, dispatch. Sunday afternoon we were really hit with a high wind, let's call it high winds right now, but had a lot of damage, a lot of trees down, a lot of roads blocked, and appreciate all the responders that came out. I know we had county crews out, still got them out, just a lot of stuff in the road and on people's houses, so appreciate all the work they've done. And just keep them in your thoughts. Anyone else?
Can we just want to continue to pray for the linemen that are out there?
Yes.
Look, this morning, they're getting the job done. They're down to 1,700 families without homes. So they're doing a great job, but that's a hazardous job to be doing. And also wanted to say, before we pray, to say thank you to all the residents that got out there and cleaned up.
Yes.
I mean, even when the fire departments were out there cleaning, we had residents helping us clean the roads off too. So just want to say thank you to them also.
I know they're having a tough time because I know they've called in some crews from Mississippi and Alabama to help get some electric back on because they had about 40 poles broken. So appreciate all the help they're doing. All right, everyone bow for about 30 seconds of just thinking about the community. Thank you. Everyone please stand.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item would be to approve the minutes of May 14th. Should have a copy in front of you if anyone has any comments, questions, additions.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Wilden, a second by Mr. Wilson. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Our next item would be we want to transfer some truck titles that have been in the lineman training center out on 461. They've been there since 2010, and I don't think we was probably aware that we were holding title to 3 trucks out there, a bucket truck, a digger, auger truck, and also a pickup truck. The college has asked for us to transfer the titles over to the college because they've taken over the lineman center. But I think Martin's looked at those and they're good to go. But I just need a motion to transfer those titles over to the SCC.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Strunk.
Second.
Second by Mr. Wilson. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item of business would be a Goodwill Revenue Bonds Resolution. Everyone knows they're building a massive building down here on South 27, and they've approached me, their law firm has approached me to do an ordinance or resolution through the county to be able to sell revenue bonds to finance that building. Martin, you've looked at that also. You have any comment? No. No comment.
Nope, none.
It's there in front of you. I just need a motion to pass the resolution. It doesn't cost the county anything. It's just an ordinance we have to do, or a resolution through the county for them to be able to sell the revenue bonds on a building here in the county.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Wheeldon. Have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Strunk. Any discussion?
So this is just so, this has nothing to do with the citizens of the county. It's just, and the county itself, it's just so they can apply for bonds.
That's correct.
It's just like a letter of support then, right?
That's correct. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next item would be the compost site lease agreement. I have it here in front of me. Hinkle owns the property. The Hinkle Corporation owns the property down on 914 where we have our compost pile, and they have asked to renew that lease. It's been ran out since 2021, and they want to get it up to date. Right now, it is closed because of some EPA regulations that it got on fire, and we found out we didn't have a permit, hadn't had a permit for several years. So it is now closed until we get all the permitting in place. But right now, we just need to do a new lease agreement with Hinkle for the county to still maintain that site.
And it's just a year-to-year lease that can be terminated by either party on 30 days notice.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Turpin. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Wilson. Any discussion?
There's no, they're donating the property for use, right?
Do what?
They're donating the property for use?
Yes. They want to keep this lease agreement year to year. Anyone we can pull out or they can pull out, but they want some restrictions put on what we're doing there. That will be another agreement, but this is just a lease. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item would be a resolution on medical marijuana or cannabis. State law, they passed a state law this year in legislation that will take effect December the 1st.
January 1st.
January 1st, sorry about that. January 1st, but we need to do some action on this before July 1st because they will be issuing licensing, and we don't want to wait until after July 1 and then decide we don't want it or do want it. Especially if we don't want it, then anyone that has applied for a license and got a license, they can't operate if we say they won't be able to do it. So it's
Actually,
go ahead.
yeah. The ordinance, actually, you got to December 31st to pass the ordinance, but licenses can be issued effective July 1st, and that's so, as I understand it, so it gives people the opportunity to start growing the cannabis so it would be available for sale come January 1. But the court has until December 31st to pass an ordinance to prohibit the sale in the county. If the court passes an ordinance prohibiting the sale of cannabis in Pulaski County, then the cities, or any city, incorporated city within the county, could then come back and pass their own ordinance allowing for the sale of cannabis within those city limits. So the county passing an ordinance basically prohibits the sale in the entire county unless a municipality comes in and passes an ordinance allowing for sale within that city limits.
It's my understanding, I've been on a Zoom call with CAECO and several other organizations, and my understanding is there are only going to be 4 dispensaries in a 10-county area. And basically, the Lake Cumberland Ad District will have 4. There's only going to be 48 dispensaries across the state, at least at this time. I don't know if later it will be expanded, but right now they're doing 48 statewide. And the question here today is, do we want to prohibit it or take no action? The city are also, they're probably going to pass to do one in the city with some zoning regulations on it. So it's whatever our pleasure wants to be today.
I believe that within the county ordinance that we shouldn't have a distributor here. We had enough problems with overdoses and stuff like that to have that here. And I understand it's hard on the people that actually need medical marijuana. But I also know the city's already taken steps to actually have a place within the city limits. I don't think we need to have one outside the city limits. So I am actually for this ordinance of not having it within the county.
Are you putting that in the form of a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Renshaw makes a motion to prohibit the sale of medical marijuana in the county, and Mr. Turpin seconds. Any other discussion?
You want to consider this a first reading of this ordinance? Of
Yes.
the proposed ordinance? Okay.
All in favor?
So we're actually just, motion is advertised for it, right?
Well, we need to do a first reading and then, yeah. You want me to read it?
Yeah, go ahead.
An ordinance relating to the prohibition of cannabis business operations in the county of Pulaski. Whereas on April 15, 2024, the Kentucky General Assembly adopted House Bill 829, signed into law by the governor on April 17, 2024, amending KRS Chapter 218B, the Kentucky Medical Cannabis Chapter, and whereas KRS subsection 218B.090 and 218B.130 authorize local governments to prohibit cannabis business operations within their territory through the passage of an ordinance, and whereas it is necessary and appropriate and in the best interest of the health, safety, and welfare of the County of Pulaski's residents and members of the public who visit, travel, or conduct business in the County of Pulaski, to prohibit all cannabis business within the boundaries of the County of Pulaski, and whereas the County of Pulaski wishes to utilize the authority granted to it by KRS subsection 218B.090 and 218B.130 to prohibit cannabis business operations in the County of Pulaski. Now therefore be it ordained by the Fiscal Court of the County of Pulaski, Commonwealth, Kentucky, Section 1, the definition within KRS 218B.010 is hereby adopted as is set out herein and is relevant to this ordinance. Section 2, cannabis business is prohibited. All cannabis businesses are hereby prohibited from operating in Pulaski County limits. Section 3, this ordinance shall become effective upon its enactment and publication by the County of Pulaski, signed by the judge, and it's got a place for the first reading and the second reading. So we need, you should amend your motion for the
Yeah, I need to-
advertise the.
Amend the motion, advertise for the second reading of this ordinance.
All right. We have motion,
Yes,
we'll just say
second.
it's amended.
Yeah, amended motion for the
Amended motion
advertising of the ordinance.
as a first reading of the ordinance. All in favor, say aye.
Second. I'll second it.
Okay, I think we had a second. Okay. Mr. Wheeldon seconds. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? The motion passes as amended. Is that good enough?
Yep.
Next item would be a road addition. I'm going to ask the court to bring in a road that is named Bob Ping Road. It's 500 foot of road. They've measured it this week or last week. And we'll ask for that road to come in to the county maintenance. I'm going to ask for 2 magistrates to go look at it and also to schedule a public hearing.
I'll go.
Mr. Strunk makes a motion. Mr. Wheeldon seconds.
Well, no, that's just for the
That's,
committee.
The committee?
just to look at it.
I got you. We've got 2 minutes. Now I need a motion for a public hearing.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Strunk. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Renshaw. Any discussion on this? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Down to department reports. Danny Maston.
Got 2 new hires. These are part-time, starting May 29th, pending fiscal. Trenton Gibson and Scott Whitaker.
Motion.
Second.
We do both these at once. Motion by Mr. Wheeldon and a second by Mr. Renshaw. Any discussion on these part-time employees? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Can you give us, are you done with that?
Yes.
Can you give us an update on what we're doing at the compost side? I know we're getting a lot of calls. All the masters are getting a lot of calls because of the tree limbs and stuff that blew down over the weekend, a place to put it. So I know you're in consultation with the EPA, air and water both, trying to get our permitting back in order, because we're needing a place to put the trash. We'll call it trash.
Yeah. Green waste.
Green waste.
There you go. We have submitted our permit to the Division of Water. It's in review right now. We have the permit for the compost facility in hand here. It just lacks a signature and a public notice in the paper. And once that's done, we can turn it over to the state. They'll have 5 days to reject or accept as a whole, and then we'll go through that process. The Division of Air is been in contact back and forth with me on what we need for the site out there. So we have communication with the state on everything. Was in contact this morning with the Division of Waste on an emergency permit for the storms that we had on Saturday or Sunday, and I just got an email back, and he said that they would check with the state to see if they would allow for emergency permitting for that material to be brought to the site. So we're in contact with them today to see if we can get an emergency for just the storm damage material. So he was going to check on up in Frankfurt. He's in Columbia, so he's going to talk to Frankfurt and see. Hopefully that'll allow us to bring in the material that's and stage it there and then chip it. We were awarded a $250,000 grant again to chip the material up, so we have that in place that we can use after July 1. So give us a couple of weeks to get the stuff up there, and then July 1 we can get the guy in, start chipping it, and then move the material off-site until we are fully permitted, which we may be permitted the middle of June. As I tell everybody, it's up to the state at this point on when they'll allow the permitting to happen.
Thanks, Danny. Mr. Franklin, you want to address the court? You mentioned, you're not on the agenda, but you came to office this morning and asked to make a statement.
Thank you, Judge. Just to reiterate what's already been said, I want to thank folks at Dispatch, Rescue Squad, Fire Departments, Water Departments, KU and RECC, and special word for Amber Rutherford. She took it upon herself to get those campers moved away from the water because they had live power poles out there. And she had those shut off, got those people out of the way, so that was that's the kind of thinking, kind of action we need in the county, and so special thanks out to her. For those folks who have damages, and I was out, some of the magistrates are out, Mark and I run into each other 2 or 3 times out in the field. I know there was some damages to homes. and we need to collect that information. I'm not able to get out to everybody, or wasn't able to over the weekend. However, we want to be able to get that information, and it's going to be pertinent to your primary residence. It doesn't cover automobiles, doesn't cover outbuildings, summer homes, things like that. But we are collecting this for FEMA to see if we are going to have enough to get any kind of financial aid. No guarantees. We've got a threshold that we have to meet. The state has a threshold they have to meet, and I know all the counties that were affected are diligently working. But with the issues out in Dawson Springs and so forth, the state may be able to meet that criteria, but we're just going to have to wait and see. So pay close attention to our website. It's Pulaski, spelled out, Pulaski, OEM. That's Pulaski Office of Emergency Management.com. And we will have a email address listed there, so that if you have issues, if you will give us your name, your address, contact phone numbers, and just a brief description of the damages, we'll make arrangements to get out there either personally or have somebody out there so we can get some pictures, so we can get this information collected. But we're on a time schedule to get this turned into the state. So pay attention to that website, PulaskiOEM.com, and we will have an email address there where you can directly contact my office, and we'll make arrangements to get out there and get some pictures made.
Don,
Any
would
que-
secondary losses be, I guess, adequate to report, like refrigerator loss, that kind of thing? With everybody being without electricity?
If we get, primarily, they deal with just structures.
Okay, I didn't
And-
know if that
and they
might help to
will-
get the
yeah.
numbers where they need to be.
Yeah, there was a lot of appliance damage due to the power outages or surges or whatever. But FEMA will deal only with primary residential structures. And, they won't replace garages, outbuildings, things like that. And what they typically do is give you funds up to, I think it's $36,000 now, to get your home in a livable condition. You're not going to get the chandeliers and all that, but as long as you've got a safe place to stay, a roof over your head, that's what FEMA works toward.
Another question, should we be, like in my districts, and I know out Slate Branch Road, and then it went through my district like wildfire.
You got hit hard.
All these trees, should we be documenting?
Yes.
All these residents that's got trees in the yard? I know on the roads, we
Now,
were out all
in
day
on
Sunday.
the roads that's going to fall under county government, city government, whatever. As far as personal property, no, they won't do anything on that. However, if the county and the cities decide that they will pick that up, if the residents will move that to the right-of-way, and if the county so chooses to pick that debris up to remove it, then we can count that.
But as of right now, we don't have the ability to pick that stuff
We
up
we
right
cannot
now.
go
There's
on.
too
on
many
pub-
trees
We
out
cannot
there.
go on public property now.
No,
Or,
but-
I'm sorry, private property.
But is there a way to document it that maybe down the road, since the state declared a state of emergency, we can get state funds to help pay for the removal of all this debris
Well,
that's gonna
again, if
come
it's
in?
on private property, the only thing that we can do as a local government is we can remove it from the right-of-way. But as far as going on their property
Oh,
and
no, I
picking
know we
it
can't
up,
go on their
No.
personal property, we
No,
can't do
can't do
that.
that.
but-
Yeah, but if nothing else, even if Pulaski County does not meet their threshold, that doesn't mean our numbers won't count toward the state for some of these other counties that do meet their threshold to get the benefit. So it's a statewide effort to get those numbers as accurate as possible. So if you've got anything that's even questionable, send that email. We'll come out and take a look at it.
I mean, it, from the looks that, I've been out driving around and looking at everything in my district, it was, if it wasn't, it was darn near close to a tornadic. I mean, that's how bad it is out there.
Well,
So-
Mark, I'm going to write a book. I have figured out how to determine when these big storms are coming. It always runs parallel to when I schedule my vacation.
Yeah. Well, we're changing the rules. You're not allowed to take a vacation anymore.
Thank you, Mark. Anything else? Folks, it was a team effort. I was tickled to death. They showed what they're made of. So, all right, thank y'all.
Thanks, Tom. Yeah, we'll jump back on the road department. Wayne, you want to present this morning?
I'd like to say thank you, and I'd like to ask for 3,000 ton of rock and 3,500 gallon of patch oil.
All right.
Motion on the rock.
Second.
Got Mr. Wilson made a motion on the rock, and Mr. Renshaw seconds. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Need a motion on the 3,500 gallon of patch oil.
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Wilson makes a motion, Mr. Turpin seconds. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And that motion passed. You got the road list in front of you? Do we have any comments on the road list or a motion to accept?
Motion.
Mr. Renshaw makes the motion to accept the road list.
Second.
Second by Mr. Wheeldon. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that passes. Thanks, Wayne.
Just, Wayne, just tell everybody we appreciate those that took the time to come in over the weekend and help with the storm. There was a lot of work that had to be done.
Yep. Next item will be finance. Carissa?
In front of you guys, you all have the April bank reconciliation. I'm looking for approval on it.
Motion to approve.
Mr. Renshaw makes a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Turpin. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Secondly, you guys have got the April's treasurer report in front of you, looking for approval on that as well.
Need a motion to approve treasury report.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Renshaw. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Wheeldon. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion passes. Is that all you have?
That's it.
All right. We'll move to citizens' comments. If we have any citizens here that would like to speak.
Let me add one more thing. If you had a business that had damages due to the storm, you need to report that as well, because a lot of times SBA will come in and help out with those. So, but we'll get that all on the website to give you pointed direction as to what we can do. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Tom. State your name, please, and
Jessica Luster. I'm the Executive Director for Help the Homeless Somerset. I'm here today just to tell you just a little bit about what we do in case you don't know and why I'm here. We are a grassroots initiative that helps the Lake Cumberland region with our homelessness issue. We help people that are not only experiencing homelessness, but also people that are at risk of homelessness. We do community feeding. We provide showering, laundry facilities, educational employment opportunities. We also started our shelter shuttle, which takes homeless individuals off the streets of Pulaski County and gets them into shelters and other areas, sober livings, rehabs. We've recently started taking people home that are from out of state, take them back to Tennessee or Ohio, where they've originated from, to try to alleviate some of the homelessness issues here in the county. The reason I'm addressing you today is we received several calls during the storms for pleas for help, looking for emergency shelter for severe weather. and we didn't really have a facility to direct people to. Our own facility was without power for a couple days, actually. And so I wanted to just extend a hand to the county and let you know that if you all are working on that, I understand maybe there may be something in the works. We would love to assist and help in any way. We had families with children reaching out to us that their roof had been blown off or their home had been damaged and they couldn't stay there. I know at least one of the motels was full because we went there and delivered some food and helped out. So it seemed to be a real issue. I took calls up until 1 a.m. During the storms of people pretty desperate in need. We have several unhoused neighbors that live in their cars that work in Pulaski County, and they used words like they were terrified. So it's a pretty serious issue, and we just love to help the county in any way to find solutions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other citizens' comments? Seeing none, I want to make one announcement and ask, excuse me, the next court meeting, I'm going to ask that it be moved to Monday, the 10th, instead of Tuesday, the 11th. That's a regular scheduled meeting. I don't want to miss it, but I'm going to be out of town that day. I'm flying to D.C. that morning to meet with our congressmen and senators, and I don't want to miss the court meeting because we will have probably second reading on the budget and a few things like that. But I just want to announce that there'll be a special call meeting Monday, the 10th at 10 o'clock.
Motion to change.
Second.
Mr. Trump makes the motion and Mr. Renshaw seconds. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, guys. I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Mr. Wilson makes the motion, and I need a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Strunk, and we will stand adjourned.